Back with Graham Kelly this morning from Filamon. Graham, morning.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good to catch up, Graham. This is the third in a series of videos covering Filamon's current drug development programs. Today we're taking a bit of a closer look at the upcoming ADVICE trial in cancer. Just give us a bit of a refresh on the program.
Thank you. Well, just to quickly start with a recap, Philamon's developing drugs that the world urgently needs for an aging population. And the three areas we're focused on are loss of vision due to macular degeneration, dementia, and cancer. And the ADVICE trial is about cancer. ADVICE represents a completely new approach to cancer treatment and one we believe will be closely watched around the world. It involves a drug developed and wholly owned by Filamon known as casonatide. And the focus is going to be on common cancers, lung, breast, prostate, pancreas, large bowel, and brain cancers, and will be for patients whose cancers are late stage and have stopped responding to standard treatment. Now, the trial is due to start in Australia in the second half of this year, with the aim then of expanding it overseas in 2026. Now, this is the second clinical trial of casonatide. The first one successfully completed a few years ago, and it was a pilot study in men with late-stage prostate cancer.
Well, look, Graham, in your view, what makes this ADVICE trial and casonatide so special?
Well, to answer that, Andrew, we need to understand a little bit about the anatomy of a tumour. Now, it's easy to think of tumours as just a mass of cancer cells. But as this diagram that's now on screen shows, cancer cells only account for about half of all the cells in a tumour. The other half are the sorts of cells that you find in any tissue, cells such as blood vessels, fat cells, nerve cells, fibroblasts, tissue stem cells, and immune cells. And collectively, all these other cells are referred to as the tumour microenvironment, or TME. Now, on the surface, these other cells look perfectly normal, perhaps even innocent bystanders that accidentally were caught up in the tumour's growth, whereas we now know them to be anything but normal. They all have been either hijacked or deliberately created by the cancer cells to provide them with everything they need. And TME cell, tumour microenvironment cells, are the cancer cell's critical support base. They are what makes cancer cells aggressive, able to thumb their nose at chemotherapy, and able to invade and spread. Without this tumour microenvironment, cancer cells would be relatively meek, mild behaving cells. Now, it's taken about 50 years to realise that eradicating cancer from the body means eliminating both the cancer cells and this support base. And the reason why cancer returns after initially responding to treatment is because that support base has been left largely untouched by current treatments. The surviving cancer cells come back to life. They're supported by chemical signals from fibroblasts, fat cells, and so forth. Typically, these will grow even more aggressively than before. Casonatide is designed to kill both the cancer cells and their support base cells, not just some parts of the support base, but all parts of the tumour microenvironment that are directly under the control of the cancer cells. And to the best of our knowledge, this is a world first, which is what makes ADVICE so special and why it's likely to be closely watched globally. We're unaware of any competitive drugs currently in the clinic offering anything like this comprehensive dual action for late-stage cancers.
Well, importantly, Graham, how do you see casonatide being used?
Well, to start with, we believe casonatide will work across most forms of cancer because the tumour microenvironment is a feature of pretty much all cancers, all solid cancers anyway. And for that reason, we're opening ADVICE up to such a wide range of cancers that I mentioned before. And on that score, it's worth noting that one of those cancers we will be looking at is GBM, the common and aggressive form of brain cancer in adults. And we're including that because casonatide has demonstrated in the laboratory a remarkable ability to kill brain cancer cells where other chemotherapy is ineffective. And importantly, the drug is also able to cross the blood-brain barrier in animals, and we believe that the same thing will apply in humans. We're also using casonatide in the advice study on its own because we want to see how effective and well tolerated it is as a standalone drug. But ultimately, we see it being used in conjunction with all forms of standard treatments, including immunotherapies.
Well, I suppose importantly, Graham, what news flow can we expect to hear out of this trial?
Well, Andrew, everything happily is coming together that will allow us to commence the trial sometime in the second half of this year. We're going to be starting with 3 major cancer clinics in New South Wales. These are all signed up, and we will gradually build on that with another 6 to 7 Australian sites next year. Now, anyone who's interested in the details of the trial can see it on the International Clinical Trial platform, which is www.clinicaltrials.gov. It's also can be found on the Australian and New Zealand trial site, which is www.anzctr.org.au. And you can search either platform using the keyword casonatide. As always, Filamon aims to provide shareholders and followers with regular updates about the trial's progress as we move towards dosing the first patient. And also, please subscribe to Filamon's website and www.filamon.com, and keep an eye on our social media channels.
Good to speak, Graham. Thanks very much.
Thank you.